Excuse me, miss. What's that you're listening to?
Well, it's a podcast. It's all about this couple from England who are in a lifestyle, and they talk about their adventures.
So is that child-friendly then, is it?
No. They say lots of naughty things, and they swear a lot. But would you like to listen?
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well cause it's bed hopping time.
Welcome to Bed Hoppers episode 63. My name is Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
Well, we are now using a new microphone setup. Thank you to Mrs. H for my birthday present.
You are so welcome. I haven't got a clue what to do with it.
I know, this sounds terrible. It's mostly your fault. And not at all to do with the fact that I've only just literally opened this up today and tried to use it.
I love the buttons.
You love the
They're
buttons?
so pretty.
Oh, okay. So what I
Yeah.
should explain really is it's not like chocolate buttons, although you have been known to love them.
They're all right.
Yeah, they're all right.
Or buttons you can undo.
Well, exactly that. Buttons you can undo or pop. What Mrs. H got me was a delightful sort of podcasting mixing studio thing called the Roadcaster.
I know, right?
Which, if you're not
It
into
actually
audio...
shows I care a bit
a bit.
about the sound quality.
You put the minimum amount of caring in possible.
Minimum effort.
Yeah, definitely minimum.
Maximum output.
Yeah, exactly that. Minimum
I
amount of
sound
thought.
like I know what I'm talking about.
You almost do.
Yeah.
So you're going to be controlling this
I'm a
thing
really good
from-
liar.
Yeah, clearly. So you're not controlling this at all.
No.
No, not whatsoever. So basically it has a whole load of buttons on it that are bright and shiny. If you remember the old game Simon...
Oh, Simon. Yes. We have to remember all the colour coordination thing.
Yeah, all the colour coordinate, like it makes a tone
Yeah.
and a colour flash up and you push that thing.
I was terrible. I get like 5 in and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
That's because you can barely remember what you're doing at any point.
Thanks, babe.
That's okay. It's Christmas. You know, we thought we'd be
Had a few
nice to each other.
sherries.
Well, a few sherries. We're doing well. We've had one bottle of fizz.
Yeah.
So it's now, we're recording this on Christmas Eve.
Yes. Happy Christmas Eve.
Happy Christmas Eve.
Mm.
Happy holidays. Happy Christmas.
Yeah.
We're not going to wish you a Happy New Year because we're hoping to get something out on...
And that's in the future. We might be dead by then.
Really? What are you planning?
We just don't know.
Well, no, you don't. But that seems to be...
Sherry might kill me.
No, it might well do. That's taken us to a very dark place, probably far darker than we've been to
Yeah.
normally
Yeah.
for us. Anyway, so welcome to the show. Thank you for downloading this and listening to us ramble. This is a special Christmas Day episode. Last year we did one with normalising non-monogamy. This year it's just us two.
Yes.
Yes.
And the lovely Zoe Deschanel,
Well,
who isn't actually here in the room.
no, but she is on a TV screen.
She's on the TV.
There is Elf
and
on
you
the
are
screen.
fawning over her.
I'm not fawning over her.
You literally fawn over her.
Well, she's just got such nice eyes.
No one should have eyes that are 80% bigger than their head.
How does that mathematically work out?
I don't know. I'm not a mathematician.
They're clearly not.
Just
Apparently.
saying, she like the ratio of her eyes in comparison to the size of her head is extreme.
Oh, it's nice. I enjoy it. It's good.
All right, Jeff Goldblum.
Thanks. So, yeah, thanks. Today we're going to talk about, we went on a recent trip to Rio's.
Oh, yeah.
We
No.
went to Rio's and when we're sharing is caring.
Yeah, I can't hear it without thinking of a song.
So we went and saw those guys. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and give you a little bit of our thoughts on the club.
Yes.
And what the night was about. They've already spoken about it on their show, so if you've already had theirs, please listen to this. It's going to be much of the same stuff, but from our
It's
perspective.
like a time warp. So we're in the future telling you to listen to something in the past.
You mean
All
it's not a jump to the left
right.
and then a step to the right?
That's right.
Someone out there is putting their hands on the hips.
And then moving their feet in time.
Do they not bring their knees in tight?
What? I always thought we had to move our feet in time.
I think it's bring your knees in tight.
Oh.
Because it's a pelvic thrust that really drives you insane.
Do you know, this is like literally mind blown.
I mean, I might be utterly wrong.
Can we do both? Like move their feet in time and with their knees
How
in
do
tight?
you mean? I'm curious.
I don't know. I'm beginning to sound like Kevin from The Office now.
You're beginning to sound a lot like Christmas.
I will have to resort to Google after this and find out for sure.
Okay, for shizzle.
Yeah.
Rizzle.
I think it's feet in time. You think it's knees in tight.
Yes. You bring your knees in tight. Oh, it's a pelvic
Yeah, you could be right.
thrust.
But now I think about it, like moving your feet in time sounds right too.
Yeah, but they don't move their feet at that point.
Mm.
To Google.
Wow.
Okay,
All
we'll
right,
do that later
okay.
on. I'm
Yeah.
not going to edit this because we're recording at Christmas Eve and it's going live on Christmas Day. So
Yes.
that's more effort than I'm prepared to put in. So just over a week ago, we went to London and caught up with Kiwi and Cherie from Sharing is Caring.
Yes, delightful.
Very delightful. So they
Rather ad hoc.
it was
Spur of the moment. Let's just go.
yeah, it was kind of with a week to go. They sort of said that they were going to Rio's and did we want to come along?
Yeah.
And they very, very kindly agreed to put us up in their place as well.
That's because we were super lazy and didn't find anywhere to stay.
Well, that was true.
That and they're really kind people.
They are very kind and very lovely and wonderful people.
Yes.
So we drove up to see them, which is cool. And we got to spend a little bit of time with them, just shooting the breeze, before we all traipsed out into London
Yeah.
to get a Oaxaca.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome.
a little Mexican chain that's across the UK. There you get lots of little tacos and whatnot. So we did that, and we met some of the friends. Now, I don't know what they've called their friends.
I think they probably knew. Hopefully.
No. They've given them names on the show.
Oh, I see.
Yes, the likes of which I don't know what they are, so I don't want to refer to them and
my
accidentally.
God. Wow,
reveal...
we didn't even know their friends' names.
well, obviously we know their real names.
Oh, right,
but
okay.
yes, this isn't a pantomime.
Oh, we can't give them names then.
Oh no, it isn't. So we met their friends, and they were very lovely. And then we got to go to Rio's.
Yeah.
Now Rio's it's a spa, isn't it, with
Yes.
private rooms.
Yes.
So they'd really talked it down. I think they were aware of your need
Go
for
on.
a
What are you
quality
going to say?
place.
You're going to say I looked down my nose at everything?
Yeah, you do a little bit. And I think they had a little bit of that in the back of their head. And the front of the head and the side of the head.
Like she's really hard to impress.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of that. But actually, I think they were just really trying to make sure that we weren't going and expecting this amazing place.
Yeah. That's
so
fair.
we turn up, and it's just like on the high street, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Like really unassuming, just a doorway kind of thing.
And you get in, there's like a little reception holding area. And as we walk in, we get told that the police are on site.
Oh my goodness. All the drama.
All the drama. So the police are on site, and that the private, and by private we mean the playrooms, are closed.
Yes.
So
that piqued my interest straight away. Oh my goodness.
It's
the
the
couples
popo.
are on site. What is happening? What is going down?
And they said, well, you can still come in. They're still open. However, it will be cheaper for you to come in, bargain, but you have to be mindful that you can't play.
Yeah.
So that did put a slightly different skew.
Well, we
on
had a
things.
quick confab.
Yeah, we
we all wanted a little, like, how do we feel?
The group pulled together and had a good old natter for a couple of minutes. And we decided, actually, since we've come all this way, it made sense to jump in.
And it was cheaper
have a
as well.
Yeah.
Just go on in anyway.
Let's go and have a look. And at least we get a feel for the place and see what it's like. And it really is a spa.
Yeah.
I mean,
basically. Just wet facilities.
It is very wet facilities. So as you go in, there's like a little changing area.
Yeah, with some lockers and some hair dryers, which was useful.
Hair dryers.
But it's really useful to know.
It is.
Yeah.
So there are hair dryers there.
Yeah.
And as you go through, there's a little sort of seated area in front of a television.
Oh, with kind of like white deck chair type things.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I don't know, I guess about 15 or so deck chairs.
And a big TV.
No, sun lounges is probably
Sun
better,
lounges,
yes.
yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
And some big TVs there where you can watch whatever film is screening. As you go further through, there's a little sort of bar area, and it's a bring your own bottle affair. They also do free cups of tea.
And biscuits.
And little fairy cakes
little
and various other
muffins.
things. So that was really cool.
That was great.
And as you go further in, there's a plethora of little hot tub areas, of sauna rooms, steam rooms, showers, a cooler pool, a plunge pool type thing, and
a
jacuzzi
bigger type thing.
Jacuzzi hot tub kind of thing.
I think that's it then, isn't it? Because the rest of it was then closed off.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go and look at that.
As far as we know, there are also some private rooms where you can play at your own discretion.
Some showers.
Some showers. And
a smoking area.
And a smoking area. So all the key points have been covered, I think. and it is very much a spa, and it feels very much like a gym style facility. I think is probably the best way to describe it. It's not in bad nick. It's quite nice, and it's all very pleasant and very normal. I wouldn't say that it doesn't feel like a high end place. But at the same point, it didn't feel in any shape unclean or unsavoury. And there was a whole mixture of people there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say my expectations were vastly lowered to begin with because, all that foreshadowing about, don't get your hopes up. It's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So when I did get in there, I was actually quite pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like a swimming pool from like, it took me
Except
right back.
you could walk around naked.
Yeah. You can walk
Happy
around
days.
naked or on a towel. And you do, I don't think you have to strip down. I think you can wear a swimsuit if you want to, but the vast majority of people were naked.
Yeah, it's a little bit conflicting. I'm sure the website does say something about, it's a nudist place kind of thing, but there were a few people with bikini tops on and what have you. So
there was definitely a few people that wore awesome clothes.
Yeah.
So we went in and went into this bigger jacuzzi hot tub sort of area. And it was really nice, actually. We chilled out with their friends, who were really nice. And some other friends joined them as well, which was cool.
Yeah.
And some people that they'd met on the internet.
Yeah, it was quite a busy night as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was busy.
Well, I don't know if that's normal, actually, because first time there and everything, but there were quite a few people there.
Yeah, it felt like there was a number of people there. Certainly in the little hot tub, it had space for, I guess, about 20 people or so, maybe a bit more. And there wasn't space to sit down. Sort of as soon as someone got up, someone else got in.
Yeah,
so there was always
I think it was
a seat
quite,
taken.
quite busy.
And I think broadly, actually, there were a lot of ladies sat on men's laps to make the most of that space.
Is that why they were sitting on
I'm
laps?
assuming so. There were a few odd moments where people were sort of escalating a little bit there, and then a chap came in.
A little bit.
Yeah, well...
There was a lot of escalation.
Well, he came in and it was a little bit of, stop that, that's too silly. And then some other chap came in and was like, no, it's all right, you can carry on, do whatever you like.
It was so funny.
So it was a bit of a mixed message. So we didn't really know
what you were supposed to do or not do.
Yeah. So it felt very much like, because we knew that the police were in the place,
we were a little bit more well behaved.
Yeah. And I don't know if the rest of the venue was more well behaved or whether they were sort of a bit more naughty in the other pools because they couldn't go to the playrooms. I
mean, I would assume the majority of people in that place were probably fairly regular to the place and probably
fairly
knew
regular.
Probably knew it quite well. So, maybe they realised what they could and couldn't get away with. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was, to be fair, it was a nice enough place, and the atmosphere was fairly pleasant.
Yeah, it was nice.
No one was awful, and everyone was fairly nice to us as we were going through. The staff were quite, apart from the weird mixed messages, were quite helpful. Yeah. But it was a bit of a, because the playrooms were out of whack. Literally.
There were no whack.
It did throw a bit of an interesting spin on the night.
So for me, because those playrooms were out of bounds, it meant we spent a considerable amount of time in the water. Personally, after a bit, the chlorine levels got to me. I think
there was a lot of chlorine, and it escalated with the amount of that, and then you'd kind of go and cool off, and then we'd go in a steam room, and then we'd go back in and get hot again, then we'd go in another steam room, and it was just this endless, not endless, but this rinse repeat cycle. It was
really hard to keep, to cope with those chlorine levels I found, and I think had the areas been available to go and chill out in, then you might not have suffered so much with that because you would have had a fair break.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd have had a bit of a break in the middle of that. And I think for us, we certainly got to the point by the end of that evening, we were quite tired, and the chlorine was it just clagged on the eyes and the back of the throat.
Yeah, it really hit you, didn't it?
And a number of our party was starting to not feel so great because of the volume of that. To be fair though, we spent like a good 3.5 or something hours, I think, in the place.
A lot of chlorine exposure, and you wouldn't normally, I think, spend that amount of time in a chlorinated environment. You would have those natural breaks. But
drinking the water was probably my first mistake.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
you didn't have to keep scooping up cups of it. And then we went in one of the little hot tub ones, and oh my god, that was hot. It was so hot.
It was too hot for all of us.
It was too hot.
Marvellously, we spied that one of these hot tubs became available, and there was only one other couple in there. So we thought, as a group, let's descend upon this, and then we've got not so much privacy, but we've got space to be our own group.
All of us in one place.
All of us in one place, and so we can actually see each other.
The lighting was lovely as well in those.
Yeah, it was nice and cozy. We get in the hot tub, and it is fucking boiling.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So.
So that didn't last long.
Everyone was sat on the sides, and then the staff came around and told us off for sitting on the sides.
Don't sit on the sides.
Yeah.
Like,
so and the cooler pool was too cool, Like everyone would have been frozen, although it was delicious getting into that after the hot tub. So there was this constant cycle of being too hot, too cold, too hot, too cold.
Yeah, a little bit.
So that didn't help, I think. To be fair, it was a really nice evening. We had a really good time.
Oh, it was super fun.
And in fact, all the people that we met were universally lovely.
Yeah.
And that was a really good bit of the night, and it was really good to chat to those people. But we did kind of miss out on the aspect of going away and playing a little bit.
Yeah, and plus it would have been really nice to have a respite from the chlorine, I think.
Yeah, so we got to about 12, and at 12 o'clock they do let the single males in.
Yes, they do.
And
there's a little security camera and you can see them arriving, can't you?
Yeah, if you're sat in the bar area, you can see the people come into reception. And there were a number of single guys that were sort of trying their luck before the allotted time. And then once the gate was open, the gate was well and truly open. And there wasn't a massive influx, but there was certainly a constant stream of them coming through. At which point we all decided that it was best to go. So we all jumped into a cab, and it's quite a journey to their place. So by the time we got there, unfortunately,
someone was super sleepy.
One of our party was a little bit tired.
Yeah, for once it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. So there was a bit of a kind of, should we play or shouldn't we play? And I think we kind of made the decision that actually because one of us was tired, that it felt like the right thing to do to just go to bed at that point. What was really awesome, though, is actually we did get to spend some really nice quality time with them the following day, where we got to go and have some brunch and chill out and hang around with Kiwi and Shuri and their friend. And it was just a nice, pleasant experience.
Yeah, it was super cool.
In fact, they took us to a really cool little place.
I know, it's so hipster.
It was a little bit hipster, so naturally
your hipster quota was fulfilled.
Yeah, it was definitely fulfilled. So, in overall, though, I think, it was a great little night away, and it was fantastic to catch up with those guys. But in terms of Rio, so it was a nice place. It was much better than I anticipated. But then they'd gone over and above to sort of manage our expectations on it. If you think sort of 1980s swimming pool, you're probably not going to be that far away from the way that it sort of feels in that sort of tiled swimming pool venue kind of thing.
See someone walking around with a Veruca sock.
I did not see that,
no,
fortunately. But actually, the place was much better than
and
anticipated.
It's not expensive.
It wasn't expensive at all. And I think if you're in the area or if you're nearby, it'd be worth checking out. I mean, it was only like 30 quid if it was fully open. So, as taking a punt and having a look. And if it was nearby, I'd definitely recommend it. If it was just a couple of miles down the road, I imagine we'd be there very frequently. But because it's all the way in London, I guess it's not something that we'd go to that often. Yeah,
I mean, I would definitely go again if we were visiting friends in London and we were also inclined. It'd be really good to have seen those rooms that were shut.
Yes,
that's a shame we can't.
We're so interested in them because they were illicit. Review. Because they were barred to us. We could not have them, so therefore we want to have them.
Oh my goodness, it's so clandestine. What was wrong? Why were they shut?
And why were the police on site? We know
we
not. We
saw the police.
Yeah. Was that a licensing thing? Do we think that? Do we know?
Well, I think it had to be, really.
I think it was that they didn't have a license for Sexy Times.
Maybe.
But I don't know that.
You mean the police?
Yeah, they definitely didn't have a license for Sexy Times. But there wasn't any explanation. It was just the police were on site. There's nothing wrong with it. The playrooms are closed. Yeah, and those two factors suggested to me that there was some kind of connection there.
Yeah.
Oh my. So that was our sort of trip to Rio. So we had a really good time there. What else we got coming up?
Well, it is going to be New Year's Eve soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
So what are we doing for that?
We're going to get all suited and booted and glammed up.
Ooh.
And we're going to go and have our first New Year's Eve lifestyle party experience. Yeah.
And where are we going?
We're going to go to Ab Fabs.
Yeah, so we're going back to Ab Fabs. Mainly, I think, because it was conveniently located. It's like an hour and a bit down the road.
Well, there's a couple of things for me. And I know we've been there before, and our initial impression of it, we didn't have like the best night, but I think in part that was because it was quiet. So my hope is that on New Year's Eve, it's going to be super busy.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's going to be loads of people who have made a great effort because New Year's Eve.
Yeah, hope so.
So really, that's a perfect storm for kind of everything being...
I wouldn't use the word perfect storm. That suggests like a bad thing to me.
Oh, okay, maybe not then. But a good recipe then.
Oh yeah, that's lovely. Tell me more about this recipe.
for good times if everyone's looking their best. And
a little bit of Mr. H in a tie, a little bit of Mrs. H.
Yeah, and it's going to be nice and busy.
Yeah.
So I think that those two things combined alone are making me feel like it could be a really fun night.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll meet lots of new people, get to experience our better socialing skills now.
Yeah, we need to get better again. We need to practice just a little bit.
We won't just find a settee and sit on it.
Well, we can't promise that, to be fair.
No. So I'm looking forward to it.
So you need to find a face and sit on it.
What? That's not what I said.
I'm sure that's what I heard. I do hear what I want to hear though sometimes.
You really do.
So we're doing that.
Yes.
At some point, we've got the Nottingham Social.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Which we're going to make our way up to
Nottingham. The events have conspired every single time for us not to attend.
I know. I really want to go there.
Well, we're going to this time.
Well, we better. So we're doing that.
Yep.
We've got some other stuff going on. What else have we been up to?
I don't know.
Oh, we had a nice little date.
Okay.
We met a couple.
Yes,
nice.
we did. Yep.
We saw them.
Life is just like rocketing along at breakneck speed. So I'm trying to figure out what we've been doing.
In the lead up to Christmas, in the week before Christmas, we had, it was pretty hectic. So we had my grandfather's funeral.
Yep.
Your dad was back in hospital.
Yep.
We managed to get him out. We didn't break him out. I mean, he was released eventually. We had my birthday.
Yep.
Yay!
Very recently.
Mr. H, it's your birthday. And
we had like a nice little boozy night out there, which was a break from everything.
Really nice. We've had Christmas prep, so it's just been a bit crazy. So we managed to have a nice little social yesterday, so that was cool, catching up with some new people.
Really cool.
And getting to know them a little bit
Very
better.
Nice.
We've got the New Year's thing coming up.
Yeah.
And beyond that, can we think more than that? I'm not sure we can.
No, it's not worth it.
It's probably not worth it. So we've got a whole lot to get our heads around, really, I think. But the reason...
Oh, we're going to see the lounge kittens.
Isn't that in...
February? Yeah. So I know it's not lifestyle, but it's still fun.
Oh yeah, it's their last performance.
Exactly.
Ever. So if you've not checked out the Lounge Kittens, I'd do so, but unfortunately,
you've only got one chance.
Yeah, one chance, one shot, one opportunity to see. Well, I think they might be have other gigs in the lead up to that, but that is their last ever gig.
Last hurrah.
I know. So the other reason why we wanted to do this and launch this today, and we did a very similar thing last year, was really if you're by yourself at Christmas, it's shit. We know that.
Can be shit.
We're incredibly lucky because we not only have each other, and I'm eternally grateful for Mrs. H being around, but we also have some amazing friends and some amazing family. So we know what it's like to be by yourself at Christmas and to spend that moment occasionally. And we've done that in our past. And unfortunately, we're not in that space anymore. But sometimes it's quite nice to have something that's diverting. And we are nothing if not, hopefully, diverting. So we thought we'd pull this together very quickly and test out the new equipment as well. And also offer some sage advice and people to contact if you need support.
Yeah.
Now, it's quite likely that I will be on Twitter for most of Christmas Day because mostly we're around Mrs. H's parents and the will to live will swiftly drain out of me.
You're going to be live tweeting your Christmas Day experience.
It'll be lonely this Christmas. So we'll be available and around on Christmas Day because the reality of spending more time with them. I can't back that up at all, but we will be around. But we also wanted to offer you listeners some contacts and information for people that can support you. So if you're having a difficult time over Christmas, not only are we around, but also there's a whole host of really helpful services. Mrs. H, do you want to read some of them out?
Yeah. So we've come across quite a few...
women?
Oh, gosh. You're so smutty.
Oh, my.
It's because Zoe Deschanel's swanning around in the background, isn't it? With her eyes and her quirky bangs.
Yeah, it is. Now I'm distracted.
Well, it's okay because Will Ferrell's on the screen instead. No, James Caan is. Sorry. We're watching Elf, we should probably clarify.
I think we did point that out.
Did we?
Maybe.
I thought you just talked about Zoe Deschanel.
That's all I thought about.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, right. Go on
but
then.
You can't stand up now.
What?
I can hear you thinking about her.
I just thought about it
I know
twice.
you did. I heard it. All right. So we have quite a few resources that we have accumulated over the last year or so that have been really helpful to people that, we know.
So if you're feeling upset, watch Elf and have a cheeky Zoe Deschanel wank.
That is not on my list, and that is not something that these charities would endorse as a useful way of feeling less lonely on Christmas Day.
If you're sad, have a wank and then go
over
sleep.
Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have
I'm
to
sure
be Zooey
she'd be
Deschanel.
so happy to know that people are using her as an escape from reality.
I'm sure she would be. Just
So go to www.zoedeschanel.
don't send her the tribute pics. Please don't.
Yeah, she has enough of those.
Yeah. I've sent 52 today already. It's nothing but blood and air now.
She's going to get a restraining order against you.
That's the third one this year. Right. Read the thing, wife.
All right. So some of the big ones, the obvious ones, I guess, are Samaritans, Mind. And Time to Change is quite big at the moment in the UK, certainly, but it's basically like a directory of all the mental health services available.
Yeah.
And some of those are the Blurt Foundation. So the Blurt Foundation is a charity, and if you just Google Blurt Foundation, you'll find it.
How's Blurt spelled?
I was about to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, so as in blurt it out. So their website address
Sounds
is
like
actually...
there might be a silent H in that.
Their website address is actually blurtitout.org, so it's BLURT.
Okay. So no silent H.
No silent H?
Okay.
No.
Good.
Like Cardenet.
Yeah.
It's Cardenet. Okay, so there's a new service as well, which is a text service. It's 24/7 and it's called Shout. That's it, just one word. And it's a free service. So if you just Google Shout, or you can text it on 85258. So that is like 24/7. You can just text and someone will respond to you.
Cool.
Really helpful.
Nice.
And then there's some really, really helpful apps out there at the moment. If you don't have access to, a laptop or a computer or whatever, and you have your smartphone instead, there's some apps like Headspace.
I've heard of Headspace.
Yeah, Headspace is really, really, really useful. Mainly because there's lots of free stuff on there.
Ooh.
But if you want to, you can then pay for some of the more
erotic things.
Oh my God. Headspace. No, it's nothing to do with giving head.
All right.
Trust you to go there.
Yeah, I'm going to cancel download.
So it's basically a meditation and mindfulness app.
Nice.
Okay, so it has like handy little bite-sized features, so that if you only have 2 or 3 minutes to spare, or that's all you can really kind of cope with, then you can just download these little 3-minute tutorials and listen to them.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And they're really good for sort of calming a racing mind and helping your anxiety levels.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you can pay for some additional kind of services on that app that will give you longer tutorials or a little bit more help if you need it.
Cool.
There's a couple of others. One's called Rooted, which does have a silent E.
Rooted?
It's
It sounds like an Australian porn site.
Rooted.
What
I don't know. Don't ask. You poked the bear there, the drop bear.
What was that accent?
Rooted.
Rooted?
I don't know.
You gonna root it?
But there you go. You can do it better than me.
Well, yeah, I know.
So Rooted is ROOTD. So there's no E.
Ah, so it's not rooted.
No, Rooted.
What did you do with that, mate? Rooted it?
So Rooted is another app, and it's predominantly around mindfulness and very similar to Headspace.
Cool.
Calm is another app.
Oh, good.
Sleep Tight. So there's quite a few apps around helping you to try and get a good night's sleep.
I also recommend the Harry Potter Stephen Fry books.
Yes.
Well, not that Stephen Fry wrote them, but he read them. They're much better than the other one, Alan Dale or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
called.
just listening to a good audiobook is super helpful for calming minds. But
I quite like a book I've already read. So I don't have to concentrate on the plot. I can just let the voice wash
comfortable,
over me.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Like watching the Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Something really
like a
calming
soft
about
lullaby.
that. Yeah, that's really nice.
Mm.
So, yeah. And then there are a couple of other little apps, like the Mental Health Foundation has an app now as well. And Rethink.
And which one? Sorry.
Rethink.
Rethink.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's tons out there. I mean, worst case scenario, you could just Google mental health and it will give you a ton of resources. But those are some of the ones that we've used in the past. I think they're really, really helpful.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So do go check those out. If we're on the ball, then we might put the links in the show notes. If we're not, because it is like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, then sorry, you're just gonna have to rewind this and listen to our voices again. So but then that might help you sleep better. So that might help things overall.
You could produce your own kind of calming meditation Mr. Bedhopper reads
You're
something.
in a field. The field is covered with flowers.
Ah,
There's a blue
you've got all
sky
Alan
in the
Rickman.
air. I don't even know what voice that was.
I don't know either.
Rickman's. I don't think I can do a Rickman. Alan Rickman.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
getting towards it. It's not
Getting
quite
there.
there, is it? I need to work on that one. One thing that did pop into my head that we haven't mentioned that we've been up to. So before we close this show down, not forever, but just for the next couple of days, while we,
That sounds really final.
well, it's not really final.
No.
This is going on for
The
a while.
last one of the year, though.
No, it's not. We've got
Is it
another
not?
one. Yeah, we've got one on Sunday to record.
Oh, okay,
We
cool.
said that at the beginning of the show.
All right,
and I
fine.
said
I
it to you
don't
before
listen.
we started recording.
Fine.
Clearly not.
Go on.
Anyway, this
Anyway.
is just the short, sharp Christmas Day special of us rambling and testing out equipment and offering sage advice, and also doing a very quick review of Rio's. But we also had a sexy day off.
Oh.
Oh.
Yes, we did.
And it would be remiss of us not to mention this sexy day off.
So remiss. Because the
Because-
pizzas were excellent.
Well, so we're very fortunate in that we have some really amazing lifestyle friends. Actually, amazing lifestyle friends across the globe, but in particular, we've got some that live fairly local to us.
Thank
and
God.
His cock and her tail, Vanilla Ice and Lord Voldemort. So we were
Yes.
able to book a day off, and we basically had a Netflix and chill day in bed, which was amazing.
Yeah, that was super nice.
It just felt very, very chilled out, and it was a really good way for us to just catch our breath before all the mental madness of all the stuff that happened to us afterwards.
Yeah.
Like the funeral and like the
Yeah.
Christmas presenting and like the hospital and all that sort of stuff. It was really good just to take a day off and just chill out. So we all jumped into bed.
Yeah.
They seem to be wearing a lot of Christmas-related paraphernalia.
I know, right?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it's fine, but, it was better taken off.
It was better taken off. But it was nice.
Like a napping Christmas presents.
And we all chilled out, and we chucked a film on in the background and just chatted and nattered and had some pizza and had some sexy times, and that was really cool. So I think that was a really good way of us just chilling out and taking a breather moment ourselves. So if you do have the opportunity, I'd highly recommend it.
What, with us?
Well, us, them, just in general with friends, if you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Hawaiian pizza. People are taking notes.
You're a fan of most pizza.
Yes, I am. This is why I am, the situation I'm in now.
The situation you're in now.
The situation.
Is there a situation, dear?
Yes, the situation where you asked me why I'm so mean to your friend Jim.
And what was your answer to that?
My answer to that was, "Who's Jim?"
And you genuinely
Not
thought
a hint of irony there.
I was talking about old school
Yes,
friend
yes.
Jim that
I
you've met
genuinely
once.
thought you meant your friend Jim,
I know.
and I couldn't help but think, why would I be mean to him? He seemed really nice.
Yeah, he's a pilot.
And there you were, just being mean.
I wasn't being mean.
Oh, you were being clever.
I was being motivational.
You were not being motivational. You're being sassy.
You may have. Well, I'm not known for my sassiness. It's it's like snarkiness. It's not genuinely a trait that I have. Really, I mean, I'm just innocence and light, especially on the day of nearly Christmas.
So you basically asked me why I haven't been for Jim for ages.
Yeah, pretty much. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah, in a very short, blunt, no holds barred, get to the gym wife way.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Thanks for that. So
Yeah.
I shall return in January.
Now drop and give me
With
20
gusto. No.
minutes ahead.
Oh.
If your jaw's not aching, then I know you're faking.
Oh my God.
Maybe I should put that
You
on a
wouldn't
t-shirt.
speak to Zoe Deschanel like this.
No, I wouldn't.
No.
No.
Why?
Why? Because
It's
I
okay
probably
to
wouldn't
speak to me
speak to.
like
I probably wouldn't speak to her at all. I'd probably run away scared. It's taken years and years for me to be this abusive with you. Right.
Wow.
Anything else you want to say while you're here?
While I'm here.
While you're here? While you want to drag me under?
No. I think you find it was you hurling abuse at me.
No, there was no abuse to be held. But thank you very much for all my wonderful presents.
You're welcome.
Thank you. See,
Yeah.
that can be nice occasionally.
Occasionally.
Well, Mrs. H, we wish all of our listeners and even our non-listeners a very Merry Christmas, a happy holiday. We'll be back hopefully before the new year, assuming that we've figured out all this equipment. If you hear me swearing and you're in the local area, it's because I haven't clearly figured it out, and there's a long way for me to go before it gets sorted.
Cool.
Yeah. So do the thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
Top 3 Christmas films. Go.
Elf, because I'm watching it.
Default. Come on.
Gremlins.
Oh, good choice.
And oh my god, name a Christmas film.
Santa Claus the movie.
I've never seen it.
Yes, you have. I've shown it to you. It's
I've
the one where Dudley Moore had a lollipop that made him fly.
What?
This is true.
A lollipop that made him fly.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
I
Die Hard?
You say this, but I've never seen it.
Okay. What other Christmas films
Right.
would you like? Come on.
Elf. Gremlins. Oh my god.
I'll tell you what, now we're fucking stuck in a time warp, aren't we?
I know. There must be other Christmas films.
No, there's none. That was it. That's all that
Those
ever.
are the only 2 Christmas
Yeah.
films. Oh, wait. What's that one?
The Santa Claus?
No, I haven't seen that. I don't really watch Christmas films.
You do?
The Home Alone. That's all right.
Yeah, there we go. See? The Home Alone.
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
What's your favourite Christmas film then?
Oh, I like The Night Before.
Is that the one we saw with Seth Rogen and all the drugs?
Yeah.
That's quite good.
I also like Die Hard. And I like Gremlins.
Yes.
That's pretty much. I quite like is it Special Exports or whatever it was. That was quite cool. About
yeah, that was quite interesting.
As a sort of horror film. There's Krampus. Yeah, that's one.
See, we're all coming back to me now.
Grinch, Who Stole Christmas.
Oh,
So
I do like Grinch.
Grinchy Grinch. That was quite cool. So there's quite a few.
Mm.
Home Alone is good. I don't like Home Alone 2.
No?
It's not so fun.
The concept is lost on me. Why would they do it twice?
In New York.
I just don't understand how it could happen a second time.
I think that's the general gist of the film, to be fair.
I don't think I've seen
Really.
it.
Planes, Trains and Automobiles, is that considered a Christmas classic? I think so. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I do like that.
Which is good.
That is a great
There's
film.
tons, and tons of really good ones too.
All right, I'm going to stick with Alf.
Yeah.
Because that's...
Alf, the sitcom from the 80s. You're going to go eat a cat.
Because it's on right now, and I've forgotten all the cool people in it.
Like Carl Gass.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly that.
And who's that person?
That is the bloke from Game of Thrones.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Tyrion Lannister? I don't know. Oh my god.